welcome back to my channel. My name is Saturn. This is The Sharpest Teeth. I am a tarot reader with over 15 years of experience, and we are going to look at Mercury Retrograde and what do we need to reflect on? What needs reviewing during this time? We are in the retrograde currently. I believe Mercury goes direct December 15th. I'm not an astrologer, so correct me if I'm wrong. And during Mercury retrogrades, we get to look at what we need to review, what we need to go over again, basically, what needs to be edited, where we can add some correction, and usually those things come to light. So I'm curious what it is that we will need to be reviewing. Mars is also retrograde. It is retrograde until February. So that's a long one. But I'm just curious about this shorter time period, because I don't want to look at a longer time period right now. So we're just looking at the Mercury retrograde and where we could use some more support, what we might want to be looking at, where are we resisting, that we might not need to be resisting, what it would benefit us to not resist at this time. Okay, so we just got those three came out. Okay, so we have this one, which is hidden, and I believe that this is the one that we're maybe resisting when we're not really sure about. It is the Five of Wands. Okay, so conflict. Some of us could be avoiding conflict right now. The Five of Wands is also it's safe conflict, right? It is practice conflict. It's not conflict that's gonna really seriously hurt anybody. Some of you might be into martial arts training and you're not going to martial arts class as much as maybe you could be. I'm talking to myself right now. But maybe that's true for you as well. There could be some active activity. We could be getting kind of stagnant on our physical health goals. So maybe there's some activity that you generally do with others, or it's possible you do it on your own, where you're kind of getting into this resistance. It's winter. We kind of just want to stay at home and be cozy, and it's harder to get out of bed. The sun goes down earlier, so if it's harder to get outside. You're not alone in this. It is meant to be a time of hibernation, and we also still get to do the things that are good for our mental health, right? Like taking care of ourselves physically and doing the challenging things, and all that good stuff. All the stuff that's that we know is good for us, but maybe we have a hard time showing up to the mat for. We have the Empress as well, and the Knight of Cups, as well as Ace of Wands in reverse. So there is a bit of stuckness here. I'm kind of getting this resistance to really owning your power and owning your values and embodying those things, and the resistance to that spiritual journey that apparently everybody is on based on my zodiac reads, right? The more inner work and deep work, how are your actions aligning with your values and what you deem to be important, and then also like self-talk. I think there could be some negative self-talk coming up, so it could be time to bring in those affirmations again and get to the place where you're feeling confident again, and like maybe look at like how you're dressing as well. That's kind of coming up for me. Like, are you dressing in a way that makes you feel confident and hot and like you can like do it, right? Or are you just kind of like in sweats and a hoodie all the time? Also low-key talking to myself right now, okay? But like we're all going through it, right? It's winter time, and these are things that come up during this time. You know, some of us struggle with depression, and we forget that we're baddies, you know, walking through this world, and we're kind of like a gift to the universe, and sometimes we forget that, okay? Sometimes we forget that we're loved, and so we need to remind ourselves. We need to remind ourselves that we're loved sometimes, you know? Because I don't know, seeing this, like, she has lemons on her dress too, so I'm like, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade type thing, right? So if you're feeling like a little sour, what are ways that you can even that out with a little bit of sugar, a little sweetness, you know? How can you sprinkle in some sweetness in there, right? And then how can you really be at peace and like one with how you're feeling? Because it's totally possible that your self-esteem is kind of low right now. You're not feeling yourself. You're not really feeling that good. You're not feeling motivated. And there is conflict that is asking to be looked at directly, and you don't really want to look at it, right? Because you don't feel like you're up to the task. But really what you're doing is, I think you're kind of setting yourself up for stagnation and not moving forward. I know it's kind of like the same thing, but yeah, that's what I'm seeing here. What we want to do, right, is take it one step at a time. We don't need to like take on everything all at once, you know? We need to be able to have patience with ourselves and grace, and at the same time balance that with some challenge, and really like challenging ourselves to show up even when we are resisting it. And then through that, for me, this is how I learn, is going through trial and error, right? So sometimes I will overexert myself. Sometimes I will push myself to do things when my body and my mind are really like telling me that I need to rest. And other times I will rest and I will stay inside and I will isolate myself a little bit when my mind and body are telling me to show up to the mat and meet the challenge head on. So where is the balance? Where is the like equilibrium, the happy medium between those two things, right? This is where we want to look at right now, because we do want to rest. We love rest. Like, oh my God, there's enough hustle culture out there as it is. Resting is revolutionary, and we want to respect that, right? It is sacred, and we want to treat it with the respect that it deserves. You know what I'm saying? And we want to treat our values and the things that we love and that bring us passion with an equal amount of reverence and respect. So what are the things that bring you joy? What are the things that bring a smile to your face? What are the things that make you feel good about yourself that you are not doing right now, right? What are you avoiding? And is it serving you to avoid it? My guess is no. I'm also kind of getting that, like, some of us want to take action on a thing, on like this big thing that we think will bring us emotional fulfillment, but we're getting blocked. I don't want to say it's not a blockage, right? It's not like you can't have that thing, but rather it's that reason, like reasonably it's not the time, you know? It's just not the time for that. And I think this is a bigger thing. It's not those small things that bring you joy that you have control over, right? This is like impulse purchases that you think will be like good for you, but it's something that you need, right? But maybe it would benefit you to save up first, right? Like make sure that you've built that foundation. Make sure that you are adhering to your values, right? Instead of just acting on a whim or acting on a sense of urgency or acting on a sense of like, this will make me feel better, right? So what are your motivations right now? Those are things to look at. What are your motivations? Where are you coming from this? And do they match your values? Do your motivations match your values? Boom. That's it. That's the reading right there. Do your motivations match your values? Because if you are resting, right? Is that matching your value? Is that like rest is a value for me? Bed rotting, however, not necessarily, right? Sometimes bed rotting is resting, but like doom scrolling, not a value, not exactly matching my values, right? So those are the types of things that we want to ask ourselves, right? And like when we are showing up, how are we showing up? What is the motivation for that? Is it kind of like a negative motivation? Are you shoulding on yourself? Do you have a case of the shoulds right now, right? Like, is it coming from a place of like being hard on yourself? Or is it coming from a place of like, I want to do this because it makes me feel good? And it's a very fine line, right? It's about how we talk to ourselves. It's about how we are in relationship to ourselves and each other as well. Because like however you're feeling about yourself does reflect on how you're feeling about other people. However you're treating yourself reflects how you're treating other people as well. So it's all tied in there. And there could be some inner conflict as well that you're avoiding. And maybe this like desire to fix it with like something big that maybe isn't necessarily the move right now has to do with avoiding that inner conflict. And I don't think like necessarily if it is an inner conflict, I don't think that's going to be solved very fast. I don't think any of this is going to be solved very fast, actually. Like, a lot of this is the day-to-day. How are you showing up? The devil's in the details type thing, right? This is in slow progress, not fast progress. But it is quick action that can get you toward it. Does this make sense, right? Like, it's the journey, not the destination. But when you get to the destination, you'll still be on the journey. Because that's how life works. There is no like, oh, I've made it. This is it. I'm here. I'm healed. Everything is solved, you know. We get to celebrate our achievements, and we get to continue doing the things that maintain that sense of success and like real success. I think I'm getting through. I think this is very like, I don't want to push my morals or values on you, right? So I want you to decide what that looks like for you. I'm just here interpreting these cards and telling you what I've learned from my life and how it works for me and how I orient to the world. And hopefully that gives you some perspective that maybe you can use as a sounding board where you're kind of like, yeah, that rings true. Or like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that, Saturn. Are you sure? That doesn't really ring true for me, you know? So take everything that I say with however you want to take it. What I want you to do the most is to listen to the inner voice. And I'm just here to like channel whatever the words are saying, whatever the cards are saying, whatever the words are saying, and give you something to work off of, right? That's what tarot is for, in my opinion, right? That's what I use it for. It's just a soundboard. It's just something to kind of work off of. So I hope that this was helpful. This is going to be a shorter video today. I am just showing up to the mat here, doing a video and doing what I can and what is reasonable and makes sense for me, and trying not to put too much pressure on myself. So I'm right there in the boat with you, and if this message resonated with you, great. I love that. Give me a thumbs up. Press the little like button and drop a comment and subscribe. And I will update again soon, I hope. Because I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to show up to the mat more. Okay? And I love you. Stay cozy, stay warm, and stay motivated positively. Okay. Bye.